Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا. اللهم فقهنا في الدين وعلمنا التأويل يا رب العالمين. يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك أستغيث أصلح لنا شأننا كله ولا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين. So last class we started on the zakat of Bahimat al-An'am, the zakat on camels and on sheep and cow, so on livestock, that is grazing livestock. And as a reminder, we said that zakat is only wajib upon livestock or animals which are animals that are free grazing. So if you bring the food to the animals, if you have them, for example, like in some countries in Saudi Arabia, in Saudi Arabia, the animals are not grazing, free grazing. They don't have enough pasture. It's mostly desert, and the animals aren't free grazing. Rather, what they do is they have the animals in a small herd or a small area, and they bring the food to them. They bring the hay to them, right? So if you are bringing the food to them, if you are providing the hay for them or providing the grass or whatever food you're giving them, then there is no zakat on your animals, on your livestock. The zakat is only wajib if you are allowing them to graze freely. If you're allowing them to graze freely. Now, how about in some places, for example, in the summertime, like in Canada here, in summertime, they will allow the livestock to graze freely, and then in the winter they'll bring them in the barn or in the indoors, and they will have to feed them. They would have to actually bring food for them manually, right? They'll have to bring food for them, and they will not be grazing because of the snow and because of the cold, right? How about if it's split between the two? Then the fuqaha have said that you look at what is most. So if there's more months of the year that they are free grazing, then their zakat is wajib. However, if most of the months or most of the time during the year you are bringing the food for them, then the zakat is not wajib. Also, another point to make is that the zakat is only wajib for animals which you intend, that is the means of your livelihood, right? So that's the means of your livelihood. So for example, the animals which, or the animals, the intention is that you're grazing these animals so that they will multiply and you will benefit in that way, right? You'll multiply, the animals will multiply and you'll benefit that way. So for example, every year or every 6 months, if you have a big herd, you will gain a certain amount of newborn animals, right? Whether it's cows or sheep or camels, and that is how the farmer makes his livelihood by getting the increase in his flock. Now, if the intent is for a different purpose, then the zakah will be for that what is intended. For example, if a person has intended business, urud al-tijara, right, then he will have to pay zakah even if he has one or two of those animals. So, for example, if you intended on buying the sheep or buying the cows or the camels in order to sell it back right away, then that is considered business, and the zakah will be wajib upon you, even if it does not reach the nisab of the amount. For example, for camels, it would be 5, right? If it doesn't reach the nisab for camels, or it doesn't reach the nisab for sheep, or it doesn't reach the nisab for cows, for example, right? Even if you have less than that amount, if your intent is for business, if your intent for buying and selling it right away, or for example, you're buying by the wholesale and you're going to sell it for udhiyah, right? Then your zakah will be wajib upon you, even if it doesn't go around for the entire year, or if it doesn't, if the money does not, it doesn't stay with you for the entire, if the sheep does not stay with you for the entire year, or if the amount is less than the nisab as mentioned, your zakah will still be wajib upon you, and it would be calculated as urud al-tijara, or zakat on business, and that would be you would look at the amount, and you would pay 2.5% of the amount of wealth you had, right? So if you purchased animals and you sold them, and you look at the money that you had after the end of the year from the whole business, from all the business that you've done, and you would pay your zakat that way. Also, zakat is not wajib upon animals which are for the intent for working. So there are some sort of animals that, for example, like cows or like bulls, they use in some countries to work as laborers, right? So they use them to pull things with, right? Zakat is not eligible or not. There's no zakat on those type of animals. Only the animals which is intended to increase in flock. So the author, rahimahullah, he says, النوع الثاني البقرة. The second type of animals or of livestock is cows. So we talked about camels the day before, and today we're talking about cows. What is the zakat that is wajib upon cows? So he says, وَلَا شَيْءَ فِيهَا حَتَّى تَبْلُغَ ثَلَاثِينَ. And there is no zakat for cows until you reach 30 cows. So if you have 29 cows or less, there is no zakat for your cows. فَيَجِبُ فِيهَا تَبِيعٌ أَوْ تَبِيعَةٌ. So after 30, so if you have when it reaches 30 and more, then it is wajib for you to pay one tabi'ah. A tabi'ah is a 1-year-old male or a female, or tabi'ah, female cow. So from 30 and onward, then it is a 1-year-old female cow you have to pay in zakat. لها سنة, it has 1 year. إلى 40, so until 40. So from 30 to 40, you have to give a 1-year-old cow, which is male or female, in zakat. So from 30 cows to 40 cows. ففيها مسنة لها سنتان. So from 40 إلى 60. So from 40 to 60, you have to pay a musinna. A musinna is a cow that is 2 years old. So a cow that is 2 years old, and it is a female cow. So a female cow, 2 years old, you have to pay if your flock is from 40 to 60 or 40 to 59. ففيها إلى 90 إلى 60. ففيها تبيعان إلى 70. ففيها تبيع ومسنة. And then from 60 to 69, so if your flock is from 60 to 69 cows, then you would give 2 tabi'ah. So you give 2 1-year-old cows. 2 1-year-old cows. ففيها تبيع ومسنة ثم في كل 30 تبيع وفي كل 40 مسنة. And then from 70, so this is applicable up to 70, and then after, so from 60 to 69, you would give 2 1-year-old cows, and then from this is applicable up to 70, then would be a tabi', a 1-year-old cow, and a musinna, a 2-year-old cow. So if you have 70 cows, then you have to give a 1-year-old cow and a 2-year-old cow. Then for every 30 cows you have, so after you reach 70, then it's an easy calculation. Every 30 cows you have, you will give 1 tabi', so 1-year-old cow, and then every 40 cows you have, you will give a musinna, which is a 2-year-old female cow, and that is it, right? So you will look at how much you have, and you will calculate that way. So for example, if you had 120 camels, then you would have 120 divided by 40 would be how much? Would be 3, right? So you would give 3 times 2 2-year-old camels. So you would give 6 2-year-old camels, right, for 120 120. Two 2-year-old female cows. Sorry. So for 120, you would give 6 2-year-old female cows for 120 camels. 120 cows. Sorry. Then the third type is sheep. So he says, والنوع الثالث الغنم ولا شيء فيها حتى تبلغ 40 ففيها شاة إلى 20. So there's no zakat until it reaches, until you get 40. So after 40, you have to pay one sheep in zakat. إلى 20 و100 until 120. فإذا زادت واحدة ففيها شاتان. So until 120, you would pay one sheep. So from 40 to 120, you would pay one sheep, and then after 120, if you increase by one, so 121, فيها شاتان, there is 2 sheep. إلى 200 until 200, so 2 sheep until 200. فإذا زادت واحدة, so if you increase by 1, so if there is 201 sheep in your flock, ففيها ثلاثة شياء, then there's 3 sheep. ثم في كل 100 شاة. Then after that, every 100, you give 1 sheep. So for sheep, it's very easy. And the author, rahimahullah, he goes on with another chapter mentioning what one may give from his flock. So from your flock, you're not allowed to give any type of animal. There are certain types of animals which you are not permitted to give. And he will talk about those right now. So he says, وَلَا يُؤْخَذُ فِي صَدَقَةٍ تيس ولا ذات عوار ولا هريمة ولا رب ولا المخاض ولا الماخض ولا الأكولة. So he says, a male goat may not be given as a zakat. So a male goat does not be given as a zakat, nor a one-eyed animal, ولا ذا عوار, so not a one-eyed animal, ولا هريمة, and not an animal that is a very old animal, so a very old animal. And if you look at these type of animals, these are ones that are from the worst of animals. So these animals, they have deficiency in them, right? So we don't. These animals are not to be given in zakat, and they are usually of lesser value than the average type of animals. وَلَا رُبَّا, and not the one that is nursing. So not the one that is nursing another, other children. وَلَا الْمَاخِضُ, and not the one that is about to give birth. وَلَا الْأَكُولَ, and not the one that has been singled out or fattened to be slaughtered. ولا يؤخذ شرار المال ولا كرائمه إلا أن يتبرعوا به. And you should not take from the worst of his property or the worst of his flock, nor the best of his property or the best of his flock. Right? So the worst should not be taken, and of course this is so that the people that are getting the zakat, the fuqara, they don't get the worst type of meat or the worst type of animals. And also, you don't take the best type of his wealth, so that you don't cause too much harm or too much darar on the owner of the flock as well, right? On the owner of the flock as well. So there is a type of mura'a. There's a type of you're looking out for both sides, for the fuqara, the one that's receiving the zakat, and for the owner as well that is giving the zakat. ولا يخرج إلا أنثى صحيحة إلا في 30 من البقر وابن لبون ما كان بنت مخاض إذا علمها إلا أن تكون الشاة ماشيته كلها ذكورا أو مراضا فيجزئ واحد منها. And then he says, and you should not give ولا يخرج إلا أنثى. You do not give except females. So you should not give any animals except females that are healthy, except in a few cases. Except in the case if you have 30 cows, then you can choose, as we said, a male or a female 1-year-old cow. وابن لبون ما كان بنت مخاض إذا علمها. Or the ibn labun, and this is from the zakat of the camels, instead of a 1-year-old female camel, bint makhad, if he cannot find one. So if you cannot find the male camel to give, then you can give the female in that case. إلا أن تكون ماشيته كلها ذكورا. And if his entire flock is all male, so if the entire flock is all male, then he can give, or if they are sick, or if the others are sick, like the female ones are sick, then he can give فيجزي واحد من هذا. He can give one from them. He can give one a male instead of the female. ولا يخرج إلا جذعة من الضأن أو ثنية من المعز. He should not give. He's only obliged to pay a 6-month-old jada'a from sheep, or a 1-year-old female thanaya from the goats, as recommended, at the age level of the other kinds. So, as we mentioned in the chapter, then he pays what is mentioned if he has them. أو سن منصوصة عليها إلا أن يختار رب المال إخراج سن أعلى من الواجب. So he gives what is said in the sunnah, or he can give a better than that if the owner so chooses. So if the owner wants to give something better, for example, it's wajib upon him to give a 1-year-old calf, for example, and he wants to give a 2-year-old from his own self, then he can do so from his own self as an extra sadaqah if he would like. إلا أن يختار رب المال إخراج سن أعلى من الواجب أو تكون كلها صغارا فيخرج صغيرة وإن كان فيها صحاح ومريض وذكور وإناث وصغار وكبار أخرج صحيحة كبيرة قيمتها على قدر قيمة المالين. So the author rahimahullah, he says that أو تكون كلها صغارا. So if all of them are small animals, then فيخرج صغيرا. Then you will give a small animal. وإن كان فيها صحاح ومريض. And if you have some that are healthy and some that are sick, وذكور وإناث, and some that are male and some that are female, or some that are big and some that are small, أخرج صحيحا كبيرة. You take from which is older, the bigger animals which are healthy, that are the same, that are of the same value, of which is wajib upon you to give, right? If that is the only one that you have to give. وإن كان فيها بخاتئ وعراب وبقر وجوامس ومعز وضعن وكرام ولئام وسمان ومهازل أخذ من أحدهما بقدر قيمة. And if he has a mixture of foreign and Arab animals, cows and buffaloes, goats and sheep, good and bad, fat and thin, then he should pay one of the average value. So you should pay one of the average value. So at the end of the day, if you have a mixture of different types, healthy and mature, ones that are not healthy, etc., we should give the ones that are healthy, and you should give an average value of what your flock, or what is wajib upon you, and what is in your flock as well. And we'll end off here today, inshallah. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.